Does Christopher Nolan have a 100% chance of winning at the Academy Awards? No.
Talk, shop, pop, movies.
Ahoy there, this is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile, and if you're a convicted cinephile yourself, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel down below. On my channel, I like to talk, shop, and pop open, that is, movies and physical media. And we finally have some important award season news. It's been a while. There's like this weird, few weeks gap in between the Critics' Choice Awards and like the BAFTAs where nothing seems to happen. But last night, the Directors Guild of America announced their winners. They had their ceremony. It's not televised or anything, so I figured I'd make a video about it today. And it went as well as I hoped. Let's put it that way. So after years and years and years and years of never winning at the DGA despite being nominated a handful of times, Christopher Nolan finally wins his Directors Guild of America award for Oppenheimer. That is what we all expected. We all expect Oppenheimer to win Best Director, even if it loses Best Picture. That's kind of where we are at this point. We mean like awards geeks like myself. I assume Oppenheimer is going to win Best Picture as well, but Best Director seems like more of a sure thing, and it has all season long. He hasn't lost anywhere yet, and the Directors Guild is a big one. The other nominees in the category were Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Greta Gerwig for Barbie, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, and Alexander Payne for The Holdovers. Only 3 of those 5 got Oscar nominations. Everyone and their grandma knows that Greta Gerwig did not get nominated, and neither did Alexander Payne for The Holdovers, who I was, no pun intended, holding out hope for because I love Alexander Payne, and he's been nominated for anytime his movie's been nominated for Best Picture, he's been up for Best Director as well. So this is the first time that hasn't happened, and oddly enough, I think this is the film of his that has the best chance to actually win Best Picture. So it's kind of weird that he didn't get in. They were replaced by the international feature directors Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. Another winner last night was Celine Song for Best Debut Feature Film for Past Lives. I finally watched Past Lives this week, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It honestly took me a while to get into it. I don't know what I was expecting. I mean, it was what I expected. I just, for some reason, expected to be more engaged earlier in the film. But personally, once you get past that halfway mark, it just becomes outstanding, and it's one of the best screenplays in a while. I'll just put it that way. So congratulations to her as well. She didn't get in at the Oscars, but she is at least nominated for screenplay, and the film is nominated in Best Picture. So it makes sense that she would win here. While Christopher Nolan may not have had the best luck at the Oscars, he is now at 8 nominations with no wins. I have a feeling he is going to win at least 1 this year, up to 3 if they just decide that they love Oppenheimer so much to give it both picture and adapted screenplay as well. But the DGA has always really liked Christopher Nolan. He only has 1 other Oscar nomination for directing, and that was for Dunkirk. But at the DGA, he has been nominated 5 times, including finally winning now for Oppenheimer. He was nominated for, of course, Dunkirk. He was nominated for Inception, which he kind of got bumped out for at the last second at the Oscars. He was nominated for The Dark Knight, which everyone, wishes he had been at the Oscars for that. Just, even though he probably was never going to win an Oscar for making a Batman movie, he still deserved the nominations for sure for picture and director. And even way back in the day, he was nominated for Best Director for Memento. So, strong start for Christopher Nolan getting in at the DGA on his 2nd film. But part of the focus of this video I wanted to do was just to prove that even though Christopher Nolan finally won his DGA award, it does not guarantee him to win at the Oscars. He has a good chance. Only 8 times since the DGA has existed has the winner of that award not won at the Academy Awards. It happened in 1968 when Anthony Harvey won for The Lion in Winter, but then lost to Carol Reed for Oliver at the Academy Awards. It happened in 1972 when Francis Ford Coppola won for The Godfather at the DGA Awards, but lost to Bob Fosse for Cabaret at the Academy Awards. It happened in 1985 when Steven Spielberg won for The Color Purple, which was nominated for 11 Oscars and He wasn't even nominated for Best Director, so he couldn't even lose. 1995, 10 years later, again, the same thing happened to Ron Howard, who won for Apollo 13, who also somehow did not get nominated at the Oscars. And Mel Gibson ended up winning that year for Braveheart because, he had no competition. In 2000, Ang Lee won for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and he ended up losing to Steven Soderbergh for Traffic. In 2002, Rob Marshall won for Chicago, and then he lost to Roman Polanski for The Pianist, which is another thing we went over in my director's ranking of the 21st century winners. Ben Affleck, once again, was famously snubbed for Best Director for Argo at the Oscars, despite winning at the DGA. And then he ended up winning Best Picture as well, so even a bigger weird snub than the Spielberg and Ron Howard ones. And most recently, Sam Mendes won at the DGA for 1917, losing to Bong Joon-ho for Parasite, which was a cool surprise. It was like literally the only surprise win of the night, and it was in Best Director, so that was kind of cool. I personally would have chosen Sam Mendes for 1917, but I'm not complaining with Bong Joon-ho winning a directing Oscar because he's awesome and Parasite kicks ass. So that is only 8 times in 75 years the winner did not end up winning at the Academy Awards. That's a hell of a good ratio for Christopher Nolan in his favor. Like I said, 3 of those 8 weren't even nominated at the Oscars by some fluke chance. So really, since he's already been nominated at the Oscars, there's only 5 out of 75 that he has to worry about. Although there's no sure thing ever with stuff like this because people vote who they want to vote for. It's not like math or science. There's no like true answer. That still gives Christopher Nolan a 93.3% chance of winning Best Director, only a 6 2/3% chance of losing at the Academy Awards given the history of the nominations and who lost and who won at the Oscars. Like I said, only 8 out of 75 have lost. Only 5 of those were nominated out of 75 years. Does Christopher Nolan have a 100% chance of winning at the Academy Awards? No. It's never a sure thing. At best, using science and mathematics, he has a 93.3% chance of winning. There is never a sure thing. Christopher Nolan's chances at winning Best Director at the Oscars, while amazing, is never 100%. Once again, my name is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel down below. I will be live streaming the BAFTA Awards next Sunday, a week from today. Around this time, I'm going to get it on BritBox, watch it like I did last year. I'll be watching it on my screen and talking to you over here. I'll show the winners as often as I can without getting, demonetized and all that bullshit. So come watch the BAFTAs with me if you got nothing to do next Sunday afternoon. I think it starts at 2 p.m. around my time, and it usually lasts a couple hours. It's the only way you can watch the entire show that I know of live. I will put up a live stream thing on my channel to alert you and get notified with. But that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Talk, shop, pop, movies.